All right, we're having a Coke with country music superstar Riley Green, fresh off the golf course. How'd you hit him?
I hit him. I got my money's worth today.
Hit him plenty, huh?
There's not a lot of pressure when you play with John Daly. You know? Not on the golf course or on the people wanting your attention side.
He's a show.
He takes it.
Yeah, he's a show.
We just had Mike Mills from REM on, and he was talking about one of his favorite bands. I had never heard of them. Nobody had heard of them. But there are so many talented musicians that grind and grind and grind, and they never hit it big. You grinded forever. You finally hit it big. What was that journey like? What is life like now?
For me, it was really accidental because I enjoyed playing, and I just did. I thought I could make a little money. I mean, I was framing houses during the week, and if I made a couple $100 on Friday and Saturday night, I felt like it was a good weekend. Fortunately, I started writing some songs about kind of how I grew up, and it was the songs that really got me a following. Georgia's got all these country music artists, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Cole Swindell. Alabama really didn't have a lot of guys, so the state of Alabama kind of put me on their shoulders, and I had a little bit of success with it. But it was, like I said, I signed a record deal in 2018, so for a lot of people on the radio, it's pretty new, but I've been touring since 2010, so it took a long time to get there, but it's been really cool when you get a little bit of success from radio and support like that.
But when you were a kid growing up, if I told you one day would get to play Brothers in Jacksonville, you'd have thought you would have arrived, right?
It's not that far. I can remember being really excited about going to Brothers. I can remember going in Brothers and Pelham's and the Flora Bama down in Pensacola, and like hoping somebody would let me come sing a song. Rick Carter was playing out here on number 14, I think, his band. Rolled on the Hay. I used to go watch him in college, and I remember going to Zydeco and hoping he would let me slip up on stage with him. So it's cool to have played that many shows and toured like that because you really learn a lot about what I'm doing now and helps me every day.
Well, we're good friends with Steve and those guys at the Flora Bama. How important is it to keep places like that open for artists to play?
Oh my gosh. Well, there was like 5 stages in that place. They got musicians playing from 12 o'clock in the morning to late in the afternoon all night. And it gives people work, but it also, that's such a tourist destination that a lot of people see them. So a lot of exposure, and I hate that there's not more places like that around.
I know it's got to be tough to have discipline when you're on the road at a place like Flora Bama. So I want to ask, I hate the transition.
Are you hinting that I do?
I don't. I've heard you don't, which I respect. So I don't want to transition to Morgan Wallen right here, but I do want to settle something because we had an argument on the air the other day, and this is not going to be disrespectful. Both of these guys have got incredible careers, but right now, who is the bigger act? Is it Morgan Wallen or Eric Church?
See, even he's got to think about it.
That's tough. I mean, there's a little bit of a relevance to Morgan that Eric is a legend. He'll always be able to go do what he does. But the sense of urgency with Eric is past. He doesn't have to have something on the radio to be Eric Church. He doesn't have to. And Morgan's moment's right now. I mean, Morgan's where Eric was several years ago. So it's a tough question, but with the youngest demographic,
it's Morgan.
It's Morgan. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see, though. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But see, I like, and not to take a shot at anybody, but on your tour right now, you and Luke Combs, Luke went out the other night and didn't have a voice. How tough is it to struggle to be able to perform? You got these dates set, but physically you got to be ready to go. And I thought you guys did an awesome thing to give back a free concert and still go out there and kick ass and play.
I'm unfortunate because, knock on wood, I've never lost my voice to the point I had to cancel a show, but it has a lot to do with how you sing. And I stay in my wheelhouse. I don't branch out. I'm not going to sing the national anthem like Chris Stapleton did. I stay where I live, So it depends on the type of singer you are. Luke obviously has a lot bigger voice than me and a lot louder songs and that kind of thing. So it has a lot to do with that, but also a little bit of just taking care of yourself and kind of not spreading yourself too thin. I mean, obviously when you're in Morgan or Luke's shoes, you get asked to do everything. And you got to say no to a little bit of it, and keep yourself in good health.
Is that the hardest thing about being in the position you are, is telling people no?
I would say so, because right now, fortunately, we're doing well and we have a little relevance in the industry, so we get a lot of asks. I'm unfortunately not big enough that I can say no yet, so we go do all the stuff. And it's you got to look at everything as if you're building your brand and it's opportunity for yourself. So it's all exposure, and we're in a good spot. I can't complain too much.
Well, look, you're humble saying that, but you have grown exponentially over the last 5 years. Has there been a moment that somebody recognized you, another whether it was country music star, celebrity, that came up to you and you were like blown away that they knew who you
John
were?
Daly FaceTimes me about once a month, playing my songs, and he's a big country music fan. And, no, it's awesome. I mean, I can remember never thinking I'd play in the regional traditionals. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's really cool, but especially in the industry, I always say country music is a genre that everybody kind of cheers for everybody, you know, because everybody's been where I'm at. When I was on tour with Brad Paisley, my first major tour, he might have been 25 years ago, but he did the same things that I did, and everybody kind of gets it and they know that there's a grind and they, you know, kind of appreciate it. So I've had a lot of situations like that, and Randy Owens here played on our team tonight, and Randy did a song with me. You know, Randy came up to speak to me every time I saw him, and I was nobody, you know, so I think that's pretty cool about the genre itself.
So we saw you last year at this time. You had a legitimate mullet.
It's fair.
Yeah, when did you cut it?
Yesterday, I went to Great Clips down somewhere outside of Birmingham.
You got to be shitting me. You went to Great Clips.
I've got to fly out tomorrow morning to go to ACM Awards, and I was a little, I was flipping out a little much, so I said I better go get a trim. So
You can't. Hey, I like that. Okay.
I do too. That's
Still country
hilarious.
music right there. Great clips. That's fine.
All right.
Where do you write? When you're doing your songs, like, do you sit down and say, I'm gonna write? Or are you riding down the road or in a deer blind or whatever, duck blind, whatever you do? When do you start writing?
It's both, but I think my best songs, or at least most popular songs, are songs that were kind of an accident, in the sense of it was an idea that came to me and I decided to sit down and write it. We have a lot of scheduled writes, a lot of co-writes now. You write with all these guys that have hits and plaques all over their office, but it's Tuesday at this time, and you know, you're just not always inspired, you know, every day to write something like that. So I Wish Grandpa's Never Died is by far my biggest song, you know, and I wrote it about my granddaddy when he passed away. You know? So I think it's unique to how passionate you are about the thing you're writing about.
Better burger growing up, Cecil's or the Rocket?
Cecil. But although that may be because it's a little nostalgic, Cecil's is closed.
I
but
know,
Rocket's
they're
still
closed.
open. I can still get a Rocket burger, so if I had my choice, it'd be Cecil.
You remember the Great Milkshake? They were like, there's a place that got a great milkshake, Cecil's had it.
It's weird. Every time I bring somebody through town and I'm telling them about Jacksonville and I point at that place, I'm just like, I wish I could take you there.
I know, it's so
It still
good.
looks like it's open.
So good.
Okay.
I tell them about Mata's Pizza too. I tell them it's the best pizza. Tell them. Roma's was phenomenal, wasn't it?
So,
All
go
places
ahead.
closed. No, they all closed.
So have you ever been on a dating app?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure my
Well, I mean, I
picture's
know you
on
don't
there.
have to be now.
I'm sure that I'm on there.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
There's
No,
a lot
I'm
of fake.
just fine. Okay, so outside of your genre, if you could have one musician play a concert for you, who would it be?
Like to go to a concert?
No, or just like you had a
Private show.
You could just have your own private show, but outside of country music.
Man, I grew up in that era of burnt CDs where like it was Tupac and then Tim McGraw and then, you know, the band or whoever it was, but I was a big fan of the band. So if it was living or not, the band, the weight, Take a Load Off Annie, all that stuff, I grew up loving that. And that was,
So you ever seen Easy Rider?
yeah.
Yeah, that's
It's
in
awesome,
it.
yeah.
So do you ever cover that?
I covered a lot of the band songs for a long time. And this is another thing. I've forgotten so many songs. We used to go play sets for 4 hours, you know.
Have you ever covered Dear Mama?
Oh,
Tupac.
yeah.
That'd be really?
My mom, sure, I sing it to her all the time.
Oh my God. I gotta see this.
I know.
There's probably a video out there somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
All right, having a Coke with country music superstar Riley Green. Riley, thank you for the time.
Yeah,
man.
appreciate
Thank you,
y'all.
man.
If you like that content and other content from the next round, remember to like and subscribe and give us the thumbs up.